I'm working on a story. UVA was involved in a cover-up. People died. Work with me.
Congrats on joining the morning show season 4. Your character has such built-in history opposite Alex, that being Martin Levy. You described the character as tricky when I was reading the press notes. Could you talk to me about navigating, finding who he was?
Well, you know, you join a show, as you say, season 4, they're motoring. Everything's, you know, you have to, suddenly this new character, you have to find a way of providing what they need within the context of all the other stories that are happening. Fortunately, playing Jennifer's dad, I mean, she's a lovely actress and she made it very easy for me. But you listen to the showrunners, you listen to the writer, and you just try to provide for the first couple of scenes what they want, and then hopefully you find your feet and you can drive a bit.
The morning show, your character is so fascinating because she is described as someone, as Celine being someone who plays the game not only to win, but to vanquish as well. What gives her this mentality, and why does she want to see her enemies no longer in the picture?
I think being a woman in that environment of power, media, manipulation, you have a lot to prove, and she has a lot to prove in her life, in the world she lives in the work the work environment she lives in, and also to her family, who gave her some very big keys and a lot of power. So I would describe her as someone that is kind of unsteady, who has a lot of confidence, but as well a lack of confidence, and who tries to hide it behind this wall of power, money, and being in charge and being very confident when inside she's a human being.
I want to talk about Chip Black here. Him coming into this season, it seems like, I don't want to speak for the character, but he's got a lot of animosity towards UBN. Does his perspective, does he want to see UBN fall, or does he believe there's a world where it can be rebuilt in a better image?
Yeah, I think fortunately for Chip, he's got to focus on himself and how he's going to make some money. So that's a lot what's happening, and I think he's gotten into this realm of producing independent documentaries, and then I think what's been great about that for him is he realizes without the sort of corporate overlords and sacrifices he had to make by being at UBN and the stories he could tell, now he's just got a camera and a pursuit of the truth, which is, I think he's better suited for that, so it's exciting to him. But I think he wasn't prepared for these thin little strands of a discrepancy that he's pulling with Bradley at the beginning of a season, turning into this massive conspiracy. So I think it's a large responsibility at that relatively early phase of his, you know, independent storytelling career.
Both of your characters this season, it's fair to classify them as filmmakers, you know? Chip is pursuing documentaries, and Cory is trying to get his blockbuster off the ground. What I find so fascinating about those two arcs is Chip feels very fulfilled by his documentaries, even though not a lot of people see them. And Cory, a lot of people are congratulating him on a movie that hasn't been finished yet, and he's still trying to get the funding to bring this thing to post-production. For you two as thespians, what defines a successful project to you? Is it your friends and family enjoying it? Is it having a big premiere? What would you consider a successful project?
Well, I'm fussy and I like to have my cake and eat it too. So for me, having in one hand a show like The Morning Show that's reaching global audiences, is taking hot button topics and putting enough gloss on them so they can bring them to a mass audience. That is huge. And at the same time, I am also a documentary filmmaker who's making things like Wild Wild Country and the Octopus Murders that are winning Emmys, and 9 people are seeing them. And having the balance of both things is what keeps me sleeping at night.
Balance is a great pursuit. The unpredictability of the process, of the material, of the way that it's received, the kind of expectations you have for all of it's out of your control. And there's almost no chance that you're going to avoid rejection at one point in the turn. So being prepared for rejection makes it easier to appreciate all of the successes. And frankly, if the successes come in process and performance, I hold on to them. If they come in product and the way that people receive it, I hold on to them. There is nothing more elusive than success in the arts, or sustained success in the arts.
Nestor, to start with you, you're a morning show original. You've been with us since season 1. How have you seen the show's creative process evolve over time? Because it's so pertinent to what's happening in pop culture. You guys don't miss a beat.
It's been extraordinary. We started, Carrie Aaron created the show, and it was a very emotional ride for all the characters. Carrie, I'd worked with her on Bates Motel, and so she investigated every character emotionally. And you sort of, but the world that she created was, as we were just talking about, trying to mirror what we see or what happens in so many other true morning shows. But it's evolved. It's Charlotte Stoudt is our new showrunner. She's taken what Carrie created and put her spin on it. And it's very fast paced. I know this season is particularly thrilling. There's a lot going on, and she's really incredible at weaving all these incredible storylines between all these characters. So.
Amazing. There's so many subplots too, which just
Yes.
keeps you so entertained because there's so many different narratives to follow at once. With Chris's arc specifically, Nicole, you have a line at the beginning of this season that stuck out to me. I wrote it down. I have relationships that matter to me more than this job. I think that is such a vital mentality to have, not just in the broadcast world, but just in life in general. Can you kind of explain the importance behind that mentality?
Yeah, I think that this is a workplace drama, comedy, serial, metaphysical. Everything is happening here. And I think, figuring out what that work-life balance is a huge part for anyone who's navigating these spaces. And Chris is evolving in that she thought that she was strictly ambitious, but that ambition includes what she wants for her family and what she wants from her relationships with her children and her husband, and how do you figure that out? And I think she had to, put her toes in the sand and be 10 toes down about like what she stands for. And you feel a little bit of a clash. A lot of that happens this season, actually, where people's priorities just completely clash. And I'm not sure that the person that she said that to was wrong, or if she's entirely right. It's just a matter of like what we're all after, and that's the magic of, I think, Charlotte's work.
Absolutely.
Is that she figures out a way for everyone to be in this like really powerful place, and to fight tooth and nail for what they want.
Put everyone in a predicament. It's like, well, listen, you got your dream. And
it's
now,
so relatable.
Extremely relatable. Yeah, I mean, that is the age-old question for a lot of women, certainly.
I hope for men too, for fathers too. No?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, I know my wife certainly had that predicament, when she set her goals aside to raise our 2 sons. So it's a big one.
I wanted to talk about Jeremy Irons' role in this show to kick us off, because he's a character that has been alive throughout the 4 seasons, but now we're first introducing him as Alex Levy's father in this show. At what point in the development process of the morning show as a whole did you realize you wanted to introduce Alex's father, and what made Jeremy the perfect man to play him?
I think between season 3 and season 4, so we had been imagining, I think that there was earlier, right? Yes. I think there were some scenes with Alex as a child. Yes. In season 2 that didn't end up on screen, right? Not. So that you had been thinking about who were her parents, who were her family. So and it it's such a, there's so many storylines that sometimes you can't do everything you want in every season. So we wanted to make sure in season 4 we really looked at like, how did Alex get to be Alex? Like, how was this woman parented? Like, what was her home life? So that's why we really wanted to see like, who are these parents and who's around, who messed her up so much, basically. And I think because Jen is such an incredibly powerful, strong actor, you really need somebody who can go toe-to-toe in a big way. And also, I just noticed that she married a British academic in the story. Alex marries Jason, who's British, and I was like, well, how did that happen? Maybe she tried to please her father, and perhaps her father is somewhat like Jason. So I think that's where, it was a very short list of people who could go through an 8-minute punching round with Jen. That's and Jeremy was at the top of that list because, of course, he's just absolutely an icon. And we nearly died when he said yes. He was just a fan of the show. Thrilled.
And so it was very exciting to us to get to explain to him, here's what it is. And he was excited. And he immediately said yes. And, you know, it was very important to, as Charlotte said, to find someone so powerful, someone who could play a narcissist, someone who could really go toe-to-toe with Jen and show us why Alex became Alex, and with all the abandonment issues, with all the issues of not feeling loved or enough. And it was magic when they were together. It was chemistry from day one. And that doesn't always happen. So you're hoping that this is going to happen. And then it happens.
That conversation they have, I want to say episode 8.
Yeah.
Whew. Man, that's
Painful.
one of the most memorable scenes I've seen this year. I think a reason why a lot of actors gravitate towards the show is because it's so on the beat of what's happening, not just in pop culture, but in media as a whole. You guys waste no time in tackling things that are relevant in real time. I'm talking about the depiction of AI here. The opening scene of this season involves AI, and it's a prevalent theme that kind of reoccurs throughout the season of the morning show. What do you hope audiences take away from your depiction of AI with where we're at today?
That's such a good question. I think, you know, we always try to tie anything any issues out in the world into something, we need to tie it to a character emotionally, right? So if it's not telling the journey of a particular character or our characters, it doesn't belong in this season. So I think what's fascinating to us about AI, I mean, it's obviously a huge subject, but on one level, there's this way it's going to be used in the newsroom, and you see these AI avatars delivering the news. That's really happening right now in our world. But there's also this other more private thing that we're noticing people are doing, which is basically using ChatGPT as a therapist. And this seems to be incredibly prevalent. So we were fascinated by the idea of Stella, this, you know, tech wunderkind, kind of secretly on the side, talking to her own avatar to try to figure out her life and looking in the mirror, and does she like what she sees? Because I think we do feel, you know, if AI is this big stew of everybody's said and written, well, that's us. So whatever it reflects back to us may be a flattering or a less flattering picture of humans. So we were just interested in that question.
The way you guys used it in the back half of the season, I won't spoil it, but genius. Conference, genius. I'll wrap with this, guys. I know season 5 isn't necessarily confirmed, but I hope that the morning show exists forever. Because I feel like even as actors age out of roles or people, you know, move on, there's so much you can evolve with media. The introduction of Bro and that kind of like style of podcast and how prevalent that's become in the media.
Yeah.
I guess my question on that note is, do you have ideas to expand the morning show beyond just the Good Morning America of it all and go into greater media?
I mean, I think, yes, there are definite ideas to expand the show. Have we been picked up? We have not officially been picked up. But you're right. I think there's many, many stories to continue to tell. And very interesting, as you said, as actors age out, new ones come in. And the world certainly is a scary place. And its topics will never run out that we can tackle, that we can talk about, that, you know, can reflect in our characters, and we can speak to the world about them through our characters. So, hey, who knows? We'll know soon enough.
Fingers crossed.
Yes.
Yes.
And thank you.
Awesome. Well, that's all the time we have, but thank you guys so much for your time.